there's something that's kept the Jewish people together for 5,000 years.
Sure.
But in God's defense on the whole Tower of Babel thing, I haven't been around that long. I'm in my 40s, but in all those years of experiencing people, they were coming over to my house. I wouldn't want them there. You'd knock that tower down. I'd be building a moat. I'd kill them with fire.
Right.
I think that's an awful attitude.
But the joke is meant to get people to think about what their belief in God and higher power is. It's not. I'm not attacking your religion.
Yeah.
Because I was raised under the same Catholic, under the same
Christian,
sects of religion. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is that there are elements in the Bible that, let's just be honest, are ridiculous.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. And there is. You can stop looking. You didn't put all mammals in one little boat smaller than the Pinto or Santa Maria and travel the earth in a flood. It didn't happen. It's okay to believe in God. It's okay to believe He's your Savior and Jesus Christ. Whatever your beliefs are, I am not attacking that whatsoever. But what I am saying is that if your religion, if the all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful God who is based on love is teaching you about hate, jealousy, discrimination, and separation, spite, and retribution, you really kind of need to take a look at that. Because that's not what is actually being taught.
Well, let's say, how was your religious upbringing? How did that affect your sexuality and vice versa?
It was horrible. It was horrible. Listen, my mother's Jamaican. Jamaicans were invaded by the conservatives. Back when they were still a British colony, and were taught to hate gay people, just like they go out into Africa and teach people how to hate themselves. And so you're taught that you're taught that you're hated, and you're taught that you're less than and not equal to, and so you live in that's why you have so many teen suicides, and all this other stuff. And so, it took a lot of therapy and studying of religion and a lot of educating myself on what is real and what's not to be able to actually fall in love with myself. You hear all these people, it's like, oh yeah, well, gay's a choice. Oh really? So when did you choose to be straight? At what day were you giving some dude a BJ and say, you know what, I actually don't like this. I love women. It didn't happen.
Right.
Well, okay. So then, by extension, let's just still have more to that thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so I forgot to go there. I have a list of really outrageous questions that we've pre-approved. However, okay, so there's that idea that some people say, ooh, gay conversion therapy, and I think Mike Pence believes in this stuff.
That's self-hatred. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, so I'm just saying, there's somebody that I know that he was gay his whole life, and he said that, strangely, he never chose to have a relationship. He said it was just anonymous or one-night stand type sex, and then suddenly, I don't know exactly what happened, but he felt compelled by God. He said he's a Christian, chose to just completely abstain now. And I know the Catholic Church has groups. This guy isn't Catholic. The Catholic Church has a couple of ministries that are trying to encourage abstinence among gays. That choose to believe that it's wrong or whatever. Any thoughts about any of that?
Absolutely.
Conversion or abstinence?
Absolutely. First of all, let's start with choice.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to that. It was 1969 or 72 or whatever year it was that the American Psychiatric Association had deemed that homosexuality and bisexuality was not a choice. Okay. And this is after centuries of murder, lobotomies, psychoanalyzing. We're talking Carl Jung, Sigmund Freud, electroshock, and everything like that. So it's not a choice. And again, if you have chosen to be straight, then you need to go see a psychologist. I promise you now. And I'm not and again, it's not an attack.
You're saying people who used to be gay and now claim they're straight.
And exactly, because here's the thing. Again, if let's reverse it back. Let's go back into history. The Greeks, the Romans, the samurai, the American Indian, most of the planet before the Crusades was bisexual. The story of Achilles is a story of a gay man with his lover who used to go to war. When his lover got killed, he lost it and went to go to war by himself as the most powerful warrior in the army until someone cut his Achilles heel. He was killing everybody. The understanding back in the Greek, Roman empires and all these was that if you're going to go to war with somebody, who are you going to fight the hardest to save? some guy or the man you love. Okay, and so let's be truthful. All of these things have been expunged from our conversation about sexual orientation. Transgender, hermaphroditic people, gay people were deities and shamans and spiritual healers within the African tribes, within the South American and in the American Indian tribes. They were the ones who stayed behind to either defend the tribe when the tribes went out to war, or were the ones going out to war to fight because they were the most, because of how they would bond together and fight for each other. This is our human history. You can't deny that, but religion did. And again, I don't care what your religious beliefs are. Let's have it founded in reality. Let's have it founded in truth. If you are choosing to believe that homosexuality is a choice, and you have doctors and psychologists and sociologists and social scientists of all stripes telling you that it's not a choice, then why are you the one holding on to that belief? If a doctor walks in the office and tells you that you have diabetes, and if you don't eat that pill, you're going to die, you don't question him why he has to eat that pill. You eat the fucking pill, right? Yep. And you do whatever you have to do to stay, and you do whatever you have to do to survive, whatever your medical condition is. If your child is born, like, God bless Jimmy Kimmel's son, your child who needs heart, you don't question why the doctors are saying that and saying, no, that's not what's going to happen because God tells me it's wrong. You save the life. But it's the moment you start talking about sexual orientation, you're like, oh, no, that has to be a choice. Oh, is that right? Maybe your belief on why it's a choice is the choice. I didn't let me tell you something. I spent most of my 20s thinking I was either straight just with curiosities or bisexual because I was ashamed of who I was. And I tried my best from every way to Tuesday to sleep with women, to prove that I was straight, to pull the Mike Pences of the world and walk out there and say, look at my wife, or the whatever his name, Michael Bachmans of the world, and say, look at my wife, I'm so straight, and let's burn everybody, and gays are horrible. Meanwhile, you clearly have some issues with your own sexual orientation, whether you're gay or not. You can have problems with sexual orientation and sexuality and still be a straight person. It's just that understand what that is.
Are you accusing Vice President Mike Pence of being a homosexual?
I would say that he has either major sexual orientation issues that are rooted in his religious programming, and or he has a lot of self-hatred.
I know that he can't make it through a football game.
Right. Right. And anyone who refuses to go into a meeting with another woman without having his wife present, you're kind of weird.
Man.
I know.
Well, that's weird, but maybe it's a sign that he's so manly.
Overcompensating.
Not manly, what's the word? So straight.
The word is overcompensating.
The word is overcompensating. And you can call
it what you want. He's just a sexual tornado of heterosexuality.
Sure.
I mean, look at him. You know what he looks like?
People hated black people, so what did they do? They tortured and they beat them. Why? Because there's a part of themselves that they hated. You don't torture and beat somebody else because you feel that you're superior. You do it because you feel you're insuperior.
And he calls her mother too.
Right. It's the most.
It's super disturbing.
There's just so many. There's so many. It's so disturbing on so many levels. And again, for anyone who's listening here, number one, I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not trying to diagnose the man. All I'm saying is that my experience, anyone who is going to try and attack and beat and persecute anybody else, there is something within that person that they don't like within themselves.
Is he calling for beatings? I don't think so.
He believes in electroshock therapy.
He does?
Yeah, so electrocute somebody until they're not gay anymore. That's going to work. That's called foreplay to me. Hook me up to a car battery and beat me in the head. I'm totally turned on.
Living in Indiana is punishment enough.
Right.
I know, right?
All the guys from Indiana are hot.
You know what's weird is
coming on tour, guys.
About Pence. I just gotta say, to me, he looks like Eminem with gray hair.
He does look like an old Eminem. Yeah, so it's great that you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been saying that from day one. Like, is that Eminem? But anyway,
I kind of want to make a Gate Mile joke, but it's not quite there. It's like right there, but it works better written.
I was
down.
actually just thinking the M&M that's been in the bottom of your pocket or your bag that now it's covered with lint. It's just that Mike Pence.
Yeah.
That's Mike Pence.
So let's going back to like growing up gay in a religious household and like
very religious. I was in Baptist church every Sunday, singing in the choir, the whole 9 yards.
So
you were singing. See,
my father was
the first sign.
Exactly. I was forced to too. You know what I mean? Exactly. So my singing in Baptist church made me gay.
Okay. So let's talk about how that reconciles with your journey to coming out.
Yeah.
Not just in general or as a comic, but to your family.
Sure. It took me a while to come out to my family. I was openly gay to my friends, much sooner than I was. I didn't come out to my family until I was in my late 20s, and it was just again, I had a spiritual awakening. A friend of mine had given me a Deepak Chopra book, and it was there's certain parts of it that we're talking about being your authentic self. I realized that I was not being truthful, and that I was living a lie that I couldn't do, and I prayed and I cried, and I knew deep down in my heart that if there is a God as described, He didn't create a mistake. He didn't create someone to be demonized and to be beaten and to be drugged in the street like gay people have been since the Crusades, and so I realized that if God is love, then I am loved too, and I deserve to be loved. And at that point, I had to come clean.
How did that conversation go with your family?
It was one of it. I have a joke about it. I'm talking to my, so my mother. I love my mother to death. I never, never curse to my mother on the phone, and how as filthy as I am with my mouth. Like, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that I've only said a few curses this entire time means that I am under my best behavior with Carl Kozlowski gently snuggling up against me.
I'm the one who said the F word first. So
I know.
Anyway.
You said,
Carl, if you could go ahead and pop your shirt back on, that would be
yeah, absolutely.
You're going to be surprised by a couple of things I'm going to ask about in a minute, but go ahead.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to call my mom and tell her I'm gay. Right, and this time she's retired. She's moved back to she's in Jamaica, and I was like, okay, Mom. I was like, talking nervously she's like, so boy, what do you want? And I was like, okay, Mom, listen, I have something I tell you. It's like, I'm gay. And it's like, boy, me had no time for this foolishness,
Oh, no.
Tell me what you want to tell me, boy. The phone bill is too high, I was like. And so I have to tell my mom I'm gay, again, that I'm gay. I was like, no, Mom, seriously, I'm gay. She's like, Randy, me not time for this foolishness, I'm about to hang up the phone and go cook me some dinner, And I lost it because it was so painful. I was like, God, GD, I'm effing gay, right? And that was what made it, and she was quiet. And you know how time is when situations are just like...
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't hear anything. I was like, Mom? And she goes, come to think of it, boy.
What?
You come to think of it, boy. You never wanted to breastfeed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. What?
Whatever helps her, I guess.
She was like, right. She was like, no, boy, me had to take the pills to dry up the milk. You didn't want anything to do with me breasts.
That's amazing.
And I was just like, what? Makes sense.
All the pieces are there.
And so, and I told that story to a dear friend of mine. She, she had breast implants. Beautiful. She's a model. Beautiful girl. Single mom. I had like a mentor to one of her, to her son. Because they, the whole 9 yards didn't have a father figure. And, I was telling her, she finished getting a boob job. She had to get them replaced, right? And she invites me over. She was like, "Oh, you got to come over and see them," And so you have to understand, she's like a 9, 10 in anybody's book, And she pulls her shirt up and she's like, "What do you think?" And I was like, looking, I was like, "Oh yeah, they're great." And the look on her face was like, "Oh my God, you are so effing gay." I was like, huh? She was like, "That didn't do anything for you? Your dick didn't even jump a little bit?" I was like, "No, I was just kind of looking at him." She was like, "Oh God, I feel cheap." And she put her shirt down.
Did she know you were gay before?
Yeah, of course she did. Yeah, she knows.
They're very symmetrical. I don't know what you want.
Right.
I'll volunteer to go compliment her.
Yeah,
it's amazing what science can do these days.
Yeah,
that's not what you want to hear.
And so it's like you realize it's like, and even in that moment, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm really gay." I was like,
if there was any doubt,
if there's any Kinsey scale, I mean, I'm like a 10 on this motherfucker. I was like, I didn't want to.
When you came out to your,
I'm going to put a ding for that swearing there.
I tried to calm it down. I tried to pull it back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a disgusting human being, and Carl.
People know that I took a stand.
Carl is rubbing his nipple in front of me, and I'm just like really starting to get agitated.
And just to be perfectly clear, you're a disgusting human being, and you're gay.
You're right, absolutely. They're not because of that.
Mutually.
Although there's going to be those people out there saying, yes, you are.
Right.
And for those people, it's like, you're gay, too. Continue.
When you came out, is your dad still with us?
No, my father passed about 8 years ago of lung cancer.
Sorry.
Oh, would you come out to him too, or
I didn't have a chance. I had a horrible relationship with my father. He was. I have a joke about that too. And it's about stereotypes. But he was one of the more active deacons